But I'm about to get into this. I'm just making sure I was live on YouTube as well, because I really want to make sure that we get this. Send this out to a few people if you need to. It is. Let me make sure that we connected over here. I don't think we are, so. Bombowski. All right. Peace, family. I'm about to get started. All right, there we go. All right. So, do you know the difference between race and ethnicity? I know it sounds like a trivial question, right? I'm gonna read this off to you. This gives me such a great realization, and I think that this is going to help a lot of people, right? See, race refers to the concept of dividing people based on the ethnic background, right? Or not the ethnic background, but their phenotype. Your phenotype is your features, the way you look, your physical characteristics. You understand me? So, based on the way you look, that makes you a race. Understand this very deeply. So, people, you see a black person, they say, oh, that's a black man because he looks like a black man. He's deeply melanated. That's the melanated race, the dark melanated race. You have a lighter melanated race. Some people consider mulattoes to be their own race, right? Because they say they have a lighter region of melanin. So some people call them mixed. Some people call them mulattoes. Then you have Asians based on their features and characteristics. You understand me? Their eyes, right? Lips, nose. That's their race, right? Within the diaspora, right, of what we consider to be black, there are multiple races. So some people say there's only one race, the human race, but by the definition of race, there are multiple races, right? Because there are so many different people that have different phenotypes and features. Right? Y'all following me? All right. So ethnicity describes the culture of a people in the given geographic region, including their language, heritage, religion, and customs. So you could be of the same race of a people, but have a different ethnicity. You gotta understand what this means right now. You can be of the same race, but have a different ethnicity. So within the black race, right, the African race, the Negro race, there are different ethnicities. So you have to ask yourself, okay, you could be in the same family, but you can have different ethnicity. Why? Let me explain. If you have a different culture, right, of the people around you, so the different customs, different values, right? And y'all speak a different language. You got a different heritage. You have a different religion. They a different ethnic background. In America, there are different ethnicities that exist. In America, classism to me could be considered an ethnicity. Your class that you're in, because people subscribe themselves based on their position of wealth. People subscribe to, yo, well, my culture is people that are rich. I speak the language of wealth and money and capitalism. My religion is money. My customs are involved in business. Those people have a different ethnic background. Their values are different, but they look like you. So you confuse because you say, well, we all black, we all of the culture. But you didn't realize that we actually have different ethnicities. This is the most dangerous thing in the world because you have all of these people that are supposed to be of your race, so you're confused. See, now when we go look at other races, right? Asians, This is why Asians don't want to be confused with Japanese. They say we different race, different characteristics, right? Because they also have different ethnicities, different culture. They eat different, different religions, different geographical backgrounds. So their heritage is different, right? So, but the Asians, for the most part, have all the same ethnicity in America. When you're looking at the Chinese, their ethnicity is the same, their language, their culture, all of these things are the same. Mexicans the same way, right? The Latinx, the Mexicans, their culture, their ethnic background is pretty much the same. Usually have the same religion, they eat the same food, right? Most of the time, they even have the same politics, right? Same customs, etc., etc. This is why they're able to thrive because they're able to connect based on the ethnic connections, not racial connections, right? Same thing with white folks. White folks, there are different class levels of whites, right? But for the most part, we look at what we consider to be European, Caucasians, right? Whites. These are all different ethnics as well. People who subscribe to being European consider themselves to be of a different ethnic background, right? People say well, that they white. They're saying that we are under. They prefer themselves to say that they white based on that they consider that to be a white race, right? This Aryan so-called race that's supposed to be connected to this thing. But they saying that the ethnic background is that they are in America of this culture of people in this geographical location that speak English, that are most part Christian. You understand me? And they believe in the customs of this land. So they are united by race and ethnicity. Now you have black people in America that see each other as the same race, but we have different ethnicities, right? We don't have a defined sense of culture to say who is with us and who's not, right? Our language that we speak, even though we speak English language, but we speak different versions of it, right? Based on context. Same thing with religion. For the most part, Negroes is Christian, some Muslims, some spiritual, some Hebrew, some Israelite, right? And those are our dividing factors. But all of those people are in different ethnicities. The Muslim, different ethnic background, then the Christian, then the Catholic, then the Hebrew, then the Israelite, then the Mason, right? So you're going to have different customs. So we as a people are not monolithic. We're not one way. So we get mad at people that we see as our race, but we mad that they don't interact and act in the same ethnic ways that we want them to. So when we talk about unity, we saying that we need all black people to unify because we talking about race, but we have different cultures and customs and different religions and beliefs. So therefore, we're going to be divided, saying that, wait a minute, I don't believe what you believe. You look like me, but we have a different ethnicity. So what you have to do is find people of your tribe and your ethnicity to build with. They speak your language. They have your heritage. They share customs, right? They share culture. So there's a nigger culture within our race that is based on ignorance, capitalism, death, and destruction. And those people will happily say, we don't want to change that. That's what we about. I've seen that. We reflect that. We live that. We got a nigger culture. Everybody knows that we have a nigger culture. It's based on complete ignorance. It's not based on enlightenment, education, morality. It's not based on goodness. It's not based on that whatsoever, right? It's based on capitalism. It's not. Right? Culturally, a entrepreneur can create junk food and say, yo, the culture should look at me as a success story. But we can say, wait a minute, that food is bad for us, right? So you want us to be ignorant of the fact that you are making things that are not good for us and then want to be celebrated within the culture because your ethnicity is not of mine. You don't believe in good as a measurement of successful ethnic background and culture. Right. So when a person does like an ethnic cleansing, they're killing people who have the same customs, religions, background, faiths, beliefs, and customs. Right. So what is that custom in the ethnic background? First, there's some things that you can attack that are across the board. Masculine black men, First of all, Muslims, the ethnic background. So in our race, we got black Muslims. They are the most attacked out of all groups because most so first time you see somebody say, "Oh, you of this faith, of this belief, of this custom, of this heritage," black Muslims will be attacked first. So they ethnically they go after us instantly. So we're gonna have it the hardest. They don't want to give you no screen time. They don't want to give you representation. They don't want to give you a loan. They don't want to give you nothing that can be for the progress of your ethnic background. But you can be black and still benefit from, but it depends on what your ethnicity. So they do this test with you. They got to test you to see where are you from, who are you with, right? So, are you of the nigger culture? Are you on this black Muslim time? Or you want to come in here and speak truth? Do you like our ethnicity more than your own? Like, are you one of the, the Sambos? That's what they need to figure out. They don't want you coming in no fearless, truth speaking black man. We know that they have targeted every single last one in this cold country every single time. Every single time that has happened. That's just the reality. So if you are not of a certain ethnic background, you don't pose a threat. So they leave you alone and you get success. And so when we look at it and we say, well, there's some black people benefiting, there's some black people can do this. Yeah, they have a different ethnic background. They don't pose a threat. They don't like my ethnicity. They like their ethnicity. They black, but we not of the same ethnicity. And this is why we've been focused. That's why I say race is a distraction. They don't mind letting you in as long as you don't have that ethnic background of strength and power and knowledge of self. As long as you're ignorant of who you are, please come, man. Matter of fact, we'll give you $1 billion contract. We don't mind. You get it? See, they play the race game when it's about ethnicity. It's not about race. Race is a distraction. Our ethnic lives matter more. You understand me? The race is a distraction. See, of course, there's a racist systems, and right, but there's more about first. Right now, what's more important is ethnicity, because that's what they do. They test you. They say, okay, well, listen now, we want to hire black people, but not all, just certain black people with certain ethnic backgrounds. This is what you're seeing today. This is what you're seeing, and they trick the world, and they ain't let you know that. So you think it was inclusion when they say, well, this is for black people, black women, black men. No, a certain group will never be allowed. The strongest of you will never be allowed. We don't want y'all in. We only want the safe ones that pose no threat. It's smart, isn't it? So therefore, you can have a cabinet of black people. You can have a black president. You can have black staff. You can have black friends, but they are not of the ethnicity of the people that you're talking to. So you're talking to different people. Like, damn, you like, yeah, but is their customs the same? Is their religion and their language and their beliefs, and is that the same? So then you ask, well, why don't you have friends of my ethnic background? Oh, you don't believe in this one. You don't like this one. See, that's where the real hate comes at. That's where the real hate. It's the greatest trick, man. They made you look left on the whole time while they cared about what was right over here. You get that? Somebody say many of us have white grandpa. That has nothing to do with anything. Right? I said race ain't the issue. Today, when I talk to a person, I'm listening to their ethnicity. What's your ethnic background? What you believe? What do you think? What are your customs? Right? You can have a white friend who ethnically have great customs, great beliefs, right? Great heritage, great background. Different. But see, when you start looking at people based on race, all you do is you become a racist, right? Now, there's an important thing of looking at you got darker skinned black people, you got lighter skinned black people, right? Some of them, and you have brown skin. Yeah, right. I'm super brown skin, right? Because for the most part, there are no black skinned people. Nobody has black skin, right? We got black hair, but most of us are different dark shades of brown, right? I'm talking about the deepest chocolate. So we are a brown people, which is interesting because people talk about black and brown people uniting, right? It's really brown people. We are brown people. We say black because we look at black as a signal of strength. Legally, black has no power, but we look at black. But the reality of it is we are a brown people, right? Now, it's brown people all around the world. It's a much easier connection. Hey, I'm a brown man. Well, I'm a brown man too. There's brown Indians, there's brown Native Americans, there's brown Asians, there are brown all people. The only race that doesn't have brown people in it is what's considered to be the Caucasoid or the white race, right? So that's literally the only separation on the planet Earth. It's not black and white, it's brown. Then it gets down to beige, and then everybody that considers themselves to be white, they're not brown, right? But that's race. But that's why race don't matter, because at the end of the day, everybody different, but we all different shades of brown. All right. So the race that would be the most identifiably different would be white, and then you would have the rest of the world who are brown, right? And then of course you got like Asians in the middle. Now I don't judge people based on their race. I don't. I look at everybody's ethnic background. That's the difference. See, I can be cool with a white, a brown, or orange, or red, or green, or whatever color person based on their ethnicity. See, the devil tries to does ethnic cleansing. The devil goes after race and things of that nature. But if you don't have an ethnicity within the culture, it's different. Somebody said, well, ethnicity was a social construct, categorized and remove us further from our identity, nationality, right? That's listen, everything in the world is a social construct besides the nature of human beings. That's to procreate and reproduce, right? Surviving. That is nature. So when we talk about social constructs to identify which ones are valid or invalid, you're using a social construct to validate whether another social construct is valid. So for me, if somebody say it's man-made, okay, I'm a man. So why would I look at things being man-made as lesser? I don't have no problem with man-made things. I don't have a problem with social constructs whatsoever. It's just we get to grade these things or whether they are beneficial, whether they are good, or whether they are efficient and effective for us. I love social constructs. You understand me? We got to be able to break away from this rhetoric that's just passed down. Oh, that's a social construct. I don't want it. What? What do you mean? Even your thinking is on the basis of epistemology, which is the science of knowledge, right? On how you build your own thinking foundation in the first place to arrive to what you feel, how you perceive things. The way you think is a social construct. School, the way your parents thought that taught you the indoctrination of our whole lineage. It's all a social construct. The question is, do you have a good one? Do you have an effective one? And how can we make it better and improve upon it? Because all things can be expanded. There's infinite space in this universe. So we will never run out of space. There's infinite space inside of you. The mind is an infinite thing, right? We have a mind that has infinite hard drives. So you can literally store infinite amount of memory on your brain. It's crazy. Infinite. Now, whether you have access to that depends on how you treat your brain, right? But anyway, I want to side chat. So I want you all to take this piece of information and knowledge, and I want you to identify what is your ethnicity. And when you are listening to people, creating relationships, building with people, sit down and figure out, do you have the same ethnic background? Because then you're going to easily be able to point out, okay, maybe this is why it don't work. That is why it don't work. So to just get on there and say, well, Black Lives Matter, but do certain ethnicities matter? Because me as a Black Muslim, do I have the same value in white America? Yeah, it's easy to just say Black Lives Matter blanket. No, ethnicity is important. Oh, I got inclusion. All these black people work for me. Well, now nobody of my ethnicity work for you. None of us are in that movie. None of us got some of that budget. None of us got funded. Hmm. Go look at the ethnicity of the people that are the men and women that are in prison. See if you find commonality. When you go watch this movie, go look, ask yourself, what is their ethnicity? You start to find these commonalities and you realize that there's a whole group of people in America, those who have knowledge of self for the most part, who are never included because they don't want they want to be able to say, we are for equality. They want to be able to say that it's a trick. They want to be able to say we love black people, but you only have certain black people on because they know the difference. They know the difference. We have it. So when we talk about culture, we don't even realize what that is. We think culture is being black. It's not. Culture is not being black. That's race. African is not ethnicity. That's race. Negro is your race. So when we want to improve upon the culture, we have to decipher what is the ethnicity that we're talking about, right? So therefore, we get to a place where we can never go extinct. We can start strengthening it. We can start making it greater. We can start making it better. Somebody said black is not a color. Black is the absence of color. Black is where all color derives from. There's no rainbow without shining light, and you get that spectrum. Triple darkness is what the universe come out of. The universe was born out of triple darkness. I'm talking about layers and layers of darkness, where it gets to a point where it absorbs color. So when I say black, we're talking about origin. I ain't talking about legally black means dead. You go to the law dictionaries. So of course we can't be calling ourselves dead. No, that we can't do that. Because if we talk about in the eyes of the law, it legally means dead, civil mortis, then that means that when you say Black Lives Matter, you say dead lives matter. Oh, so that's why maybe people rally every time that there's a black death that happens. Nah, that's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about at all. So you got to know. So what we're talking about is the ethnicity of these people matter. Their dreams matter. These brown people, these copper colored people matter. You understand me? These Native Americans, these Americans in America matter. This come on now. We in the last 500 years, how long does it take to build an ethnicity? How long does it take to say I'm from here? I would imagine 500 years is enough. 500 years should be enough to say I'm from here. Tell me my sound coming in choppy. Let's do it like this. I would imagine 500 years is enough, right? So the background of the people when we all came over here, whoever was brought over here, right, from America, they all had the same ethnicity. So what you got to rob from a people if they ethnic background, you got to rob them. Number one, they was robbed of their geographic region, right? They was robbed of their language, their heritage, their religion, and their customs. But through slavery, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, a lot of that was held on to for a very long time. You're talking about hundreds of years. That first 100 year, we didn't lose it. Second 100 year, we didn't lose it. We didn't lose our family customs till welfare came. That was after slavery. See, they knew we can let the black race free, but we can't let this ethnic background free. They can't believe that they are, They can't have their religion still. They can't have their customs still. They can't speak their language still. We can't let that free in America, but we can let the race free. And we can give some of them who have different ethnic backgrounds that are closer to the slave master, we can put them in position of power and opportunity. And the race will think that is progress because they don't know that the ethnic background of the people that we put in position is different. Woo, they played us so well, didn't they? But I'm voting for a black person, but he ain't got the same ethnic background as you. Man, they cooked on us. They cooked on us. They cooked on us. So people be like, well, Keys, there was some black people that owned slaves. There was. Because they had the same ethnic background as the slave master. They had the same ethnic background, slave master. Dang. And today, those same Negroes exist. And so we say, man, that's black excellence. Man, that's beautiful. But they ain't got our ethnic background, so that don't even count towards our ethnic progress. See, we say it's racial progress, but what about the ethnic progress? Are your customs or your religion or your beliefs or your way of life progressing? So when you don't see people in positions that think like you, talk like you, move like you, how can you count that as progress? Everybody's brown. No, what matters the most is who's the tribe, though. Everybody's brown. Shit, brown people all over. You happy that another brown person that look like you because they have the same phenotype. Come on, man. So this is a very sound and somber message on this day that I want you all to take in consideration. This is the piece that the culture, right? This is the piece that our ethnicity, our people are missing, right? Because everybody ain't your people. So they know that they will continue to manipulate us in this fashion, in this order, and in this way. So now when I look at progress, I'm going to look at it from the lens, are people of my ethnic background progressing? If not, it's not progress for me. I'm not celebrating no more. I mean, if it's a good person, listen, I love all good people. That's me. I love all good people. I want y'all to understand that. I don't have enough time and space in my heart to think about people that I dislike and or hate. I don't have that to hold on to. So I don't walk around hating nobody's race whatsoever. I know people shocked, like, you grew up Muslim. No, I don't. I don't. Shocking, huh? Nah. Because that would distract me from seeing reality the way it's supposed to be seen. No civilization was formed based on a race of people. It was based on the ethnic background of those people coming together collectively, agreeing upon this set of rules and establishing order based on that. So we can't progress by just looking at, oh, he brown, I'm brown. Man, that nigga will kill you too because his ethnic background is of a nigga. So what is the ethnic background of the culture, of music? Come on now. Your eyes can now see when you start looking at things the way they supposed to. So if we have a culture that's based on death, you got to change the language, because if you're seeing and expressing your perception based on this language and it's not progressing, then that means you got to change the language. So that means that culture can't be used no more. I'm looking at ethnicity because culture is inside of the ethnicity. It's not just one factor. Culture is just one factor of ethnicity. Culture is not ethnicity. It describes the language, the heritage, the religion, and the customs. And this is one thing that we've missed when we try to describe what we think we're describing as culture. We're asking, why is the culture messed up? So when you say, what is our heritage, our religion, our customs, and our language, we have to improve upon those aspects, and then everything grows. You did? So listen, man, I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. I don't really have much to say about Kanye West. That's his battle. He goes up there and he's fighting his battle. And I think what he shows and displays the world is the intricate, complicated, complex reality of what it means to be a black man in America. Yeah. I think that black men, we go through so much. We deal with so much on a daily basis. Some of these things can break your mind. Going through a divorce can make people have mental illnesses, break their mind, and destroy them, right? Losing family members, being treated a certain way, even when you got money, being treated like a nigga when you thought that you were jumping in different classes and all of these different things. And then you try to use truth as a weapon. It's a lot that goes to unpack. I don't have the ability to sit down and overly critique black men because I got too much empathy for us. I don't. The man spoke a lot of truths. It's up to you to go decipher what them truths are. The problem you can have with people is when they start telling lies. Ask yourself, right? If I have a problem on this brother based on the fact that he's lying, I have a problem based on the lies, and everything that they're doing is a lie. That is fine. But if you say, well, he did this, but it's true, okay, I'm fine with it. So then why? It starts to build customs of truth. It starts to build culture of truth. Now we change what we accept. We change what we emotionally connected to. We're connected to truth now. You might not like the way a person do it, their tone, their delivery, all of them things can be wrong. And which is why I can make it ineffective. But truth is still truth. It's good. So I think that you got to look at the overall health. Today is the anniversary of the Million Man March. And if y'all want to go watch that and go listen to that. Go look at the front of that shirt. That's more important than the back. But nobody wants to talk about the Pope. Nobody wants to talk about the fact that Sonai Connor did the same exact thing on SNL where she put the Pope up and said, this is a real world war, and she was canceled. And Kanye waited 10 years later on the day of to put that shirt out because he wanted to get canceled and he wanted to go to war with SNL and he wanted to present that same message. But that's too high level, of course, for common society. So that's why oftentimes when you are a steward of God's message, you got to speak plainly to the people because you're going to create more confusion than anything. Right? We know that there are certain things in our culture, in our community, and as people, we don't talk about, we don't speak on because we feel like they're going to get us canceled. But when we see people get canceled for them, we agree with them, but you don't defend them. That is the most important conversation today because at some point in time, when you look at China with social credit score systems, if they can ban Kanye from a tweet from banking $100 or something million, that's a dangerous precedent that they're setting because now you can start connecting content to banking and giving people access to public utilities. Y'all listen, when I seen Donald Trump get banned on social media, I wasn't happy on that because if they can ban him, they ban everybody. He's the president of the United States of America. I seen the Minister Louis Farrakhan, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan get banned. Nobody is in uproar. So that's why I don't take the fake passion of the culture serious, because things that require your uproar, you're not into. Things that have a definite effect on our future that sets precedents. You know, in law, when there's one case that happens that's entered into law, and you can use that case as precedents to defend yourself, or they can use it as precedents to lock somebody up, right? It's the same thing when you're talking about setting precedents in society. It makes it dangerous for everybody. So what you got to do is sometimes have that ability to differentiate with what you feel and what's good. Because I'm like, wait a minute, bro, get kicked off of saying something. PayPal just said, came out and said that basically, if we disagree with your public statements and things that you do on social media, we have the right to fine you $2,500 and blackball you off of PayPal. Now the people was in uproar because they want to kick off all these Republicans and these people that disagree with them, right? People was in uproar, like you can't do that. They was in so much uproar, they start canceling their accounts. It went viral. PayPal reversed their decision in 48 hours because they understood that that is a terrible precedence to start with. Because now your business is connected to your freedom of religion, your freedom of, speech, press, politics, all of that. Man, we don't want that to happen. So you might not like what Kanye West said, but for him to get kicked out of the bank for a tweet when Jeffrey Epstein was a child sex predator going through a court case and his bank account wasn't shut down, but a black man can tweet something that's offensive, you got to understand that's a precedent speaking to you. Don't matter whether you agree, but you have to say that that's not something that we agree with as a people, because that's dangerous. Because what if you don't agree with my stance on religion or politics? So now I get kicked off. That's all that it is slavery and control. Because now you can't be who you want to be. You can't be free if you have to be controlled by people in positions of power. There's no freedom there. Ain't no freedom. So all I say is get away from your own conceptions of what you feel about things. Get away from what you think is right and wrong, as far as your feelings and emotions, and look at these things logically and mathematically and say, what's happening in society? Become a great observer and say, society is going to a place that is very dangerous right now. And you are being distracted by race politics, race baiting things. You're being distracted because they're pulling your emotion in one area while they're playing you in the other. And you are agreeing to it while they're making your life worse. Anything that takes away your freedoms is dangerous. Anything that takes away your freedoms is dangerous. So when you see freedoms being taken away from people, that means that they can do the same to you. That's dangerous, because me, as a black man in America, I want to be able to say what the hell I want to say. Imagine if women couldn't speak on patriarchy. How could you get any equality? How could you get any equity? How could you maintain and make change? Would have well, you know that was a precedent, right? Women speaking up against certain things. Oh, you can't get this job. You ain't getting this raise. You can't speak and take up space. They're doing that same thing to everybody now. You can come to your own conclusions. One person may say it bluntly, but when you do your own research, you come to your own conclusion like, damn, all right. I'll try to present you to a conclusion to think, because if you give a person the truth directly, sometimes it shocks them and it makes them fight against it. But if they go on the research and they go through, when you research, you're building up the strength to receive truth, because now, oh, that dot connected. that dot connected, that dot connected. That makes sense. Now your brain is connecting dots and building up your own framework. And then all of a sudden, oh shit, that's crazy. But now you're strong enough to receive it. You're strong enough to stand on it. You're strong enough to believe it. But if somebody just tell you something, nah, man, that shit ain't real. I don't know what you talking about. You don't want to hear that. That's why you need proof. But sometimes a person can give you truth and that shit can hurt you more than it can help you because you might not be ready for it. So therefore, you have to go on that journey yourself and you will appreciate all truth tellers in the world. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Listen, high level conversations, audio experience is coming out today. An audio experience is coming out today. High level conversations. I will be posting some of it. This is going to be a very important one. That means there will be no visuals, but we have a high level conversation with Tyreek Nasheed that is dropping Saturday. Oh man, I can't wait for y'all to get that one. That one gonna be amazing and immaculate. You know what I'm talking about? I will also be Market Mondays tomorrow. I will be in Market Mondays tomorrow. Is this the real Keenan Beasley? I'm not posting this one. I'm posting that one on only for my subscribers. I got like
I had to tap in. I had to tap in, brother.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It felt spiritual, man. I just wanted to say what's up, man.
Shout out to my brother in Africa right now.
We gonna link up tomorrow.
Yes, sir. I got like 2 minutes left with my brother. Enjoy, have a good time. Give your family my love. You out there in Africa, eating up all of the chicken, all of the lamb, all of the food you could think of. You understand me? Bring me back a plate, please.
We got you. We got you, brother.
What's going on, family?
All love, brother. All love.
All right. Peace, family. Listen, man. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all, man. I'm just trying to help y'all keep your eyes open because this is a dangerous world that we live in. You understand me? And if we allow the world to continue to go the way it's going, then nobody will have any freedoms. So I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. And my heart is heavy with the responsibility that we have to protect our lives, to protect our mind, and protect our freedoms. Y'all continue being great and continue to tap in. Peace.